Hey guys, it's Victoria, and today's review video is going to be of my Akai Advanced 49. I really love this keyboard. I've had it for about 4 months or so, give or take. It's my 4th MIDI keyboard, and I feel really good about this one. I mean, it's not going to be my forever keyboard. I do like to change up my setup often. I like getting new gear, but I can see her sticking around for a little bit. My past keyboards have been the Audio Axiom 25. I've had the Novation Launch Key 49, and before I got this one, I had the Nectar Panorama P4. Those are all really great keyboards. I loved them all. I had great experiences with all of them. Just for me, for right now, this one's meeting my needs a little bit better. And if you have any questions about the ones that I've had before or considering getting them, definitely leave me a comment if you have any questions. I'd be happy to give you a little bit of feedback and a little bit of insight from when I had them. But I don't want to get too far into detail about them because I'm doing a review on this one right here. Now, a little bit on why I picked this keyboard out of the very many keyboards that are out there. I love the way that the keys feel. They are semi-weighted and they don't feel cheap. They feel like they can take a bit of a beating, and so far they have. I like the pads on them. They feel really nice. Not as nice as my machine pads, but they feel very close actually. I like the screen on it. You can see a lot of details. It's easier to personalize this keyboard. It's easier than any other keyboard that I've had because you can see so much on that screen. You can just do everything from right there. So it's really nice that you can go in there and kind of tinker around and mess with the preferences of it and, you know, make it fit to you. So it's a beautiful thing. I went with the 49 key because I feel like the 25 keys obviously a little too small. It just wouldn't work for my use, but there's also a 61 key version of it too, and I found it wasn't worth the extra $100 for me because if you can see in the background, I actually have a 88 key digital piano that's fully weighted, so if I want to get a little more down on my keys, then I have that as my option to go on ahead and get things done. Now, on top of that, I'm also going to be talking a little bit about the VIP software that comes with the Advanced series. I wasn't too familiar with it before I bought it. I knew it existed. I knew what it did, and I honestly don't use it too much with my setup, but I thought it would be important to talk about it because that is one of the big selling points of this keyboard for some people. So I feel it's definitely worth going into. And on that note, I'm going to go on ahead and get this review started. Thanks. And here is my beautiful Akai Advanced 49 MIDI controller. It's just a standard version of it. There might be some special editions out there, which typically the only difference is the color. So if you find one out there and you like the color, go for it. Mine's just going to be the standard black version. And first thing I'm going to be talking about on it are the keys. Now, the keys on this controller are of a glossy finish. I'm trying to show you the shininess of it all. I don't know if you can see it, but you can kind of see the reflections there. Now, there's a bunch of different types of keys out there. There's some that have a matte finish, some that have a textured finish, and also there's like the little bitty mini MIDI controllers that have the little teeny tiny keys. So whatever your application is, whatever you're comfortable with, go with that. These ones work perfectly for me. I love these keys. And I'm going to show you the velocity sensitivity. So as you can see, the harder I hit the key, the louder the note sounds, and the softer I hit the key, the softer the note sounds. So very common feature in a MIDI controller. I don't know of any MIDI keyboard that doesn't offer velocity sensitivity. So you don't have to stress too much about looking for it. More than likely, your keyboard is gonna have it. Now, another cool thing is this keyboard offers aftertouch on it. So it's a little bit hard to explain aftertouch. So I'm just gonna show you and then explain what's going on afterwards. So here we go. So you can see I played a chord and then I pushed further into the keys. In this instant, I had mapped it to a cutoff on a filter, but you can essentially map it to anything. A lot of common uses are on instruments for expression, but I was having a little trouble finding something that you could hear the effects of the aftertouch, so I just went ahead and went with that. Now, aftertouch is a feature that if you really want it in your keyboard, you should definitely check to see if the keyboard offers that. It's not like it's uncommon, but it's definitely not a common enough feature to where you can just pick up any keyboard and assume that it's gonna have it. So definitely check the back of the box. The Advanced 49 offers it, so just one of its many great features. That being said, why don't we go on ahead and travel to Pad World. Here we have the pads. There are 8 of them, which I'm sure you can count. And they are, just like the keys, velocity sensitive. They offer aftertouch as a feature as well. They're also RGB backlit too, so that's pretty awesome. You can essentially change it to whatever color that you want. I'll just demonstrate real quick the change of color. So lots of colors to choose from. And another neat feature about this is it has some scale modes. You can choose from major, minor, a bunch of different types of scales. I have it in chromatic right now. So there's a part of a chromatic scale. And there's a helpful little tool that the pads offer you. If you look closely, you see like white key, black key, white key, black key, white. So it mimics a keyboard. So that's really handy. If you're used to the way a keyboard is laid out, that might be a useful tool to you. Now, if there was anything on this keyboard that I would maybe improve or, wish was a little bit better, it would be the pads responsiveness. I find that a lot of times if I'm playing something quickly, it doesn't quite catch. Let me see if it'll do it. Okay, so it just did that thing that technology likes to do when you try to show somebody something's wrong, but then it starts acting right. But it does do it. Typically, if I play something quicker or if I push the pads a bit softer, I just find that it doesn't quite capture everything like I would like it to. I have tried to adjust the sensitivity. It hasn't seemed to help, but that's my opinion, and we're moving on to the next thing. So I had full level selected right now when I demoed. That just means that it is sending a full 128 MIDI signal over to your DAW or whatever you're using, and that just means it's sending it at full volume, basically. I leave it on all the time. It's just easier to edit, but here it is with velocity sensitivity at normal. So as you can see in here, the volume was corresponding to how hard I was hitting the pads. So velocity sensitivity. And now we go to the knobs. They are endless encoder knobs. They're super duper nice. They're butter, they're smooth, and they have virtually no soft noise, so they're really quiet for those who care about that kind of thing. I apologize for my dusty keyboard. I thought I cleaned it good, but apparently not as good as I thought. The camera can see all. But we're gonna move on to the screen. Here is the 4.3-inch full color high resolution screen, as well as the transport control, and you have a few other settings controls there on the left side of the screen. This feature is extremely useful if you're wanting to really take advantage of having such a capable controller. Not all controllers have such a detailed screen, so this makes personalizing it much easier. And here we have the knob that will help you get through the menus. It also will select when you push down on it. It is endless encoder, and you can feel it notching when it goes in between different items. Bunch of different templates to choose from. A lot of DAWs are in here, as well as the MPC software's template too. And here's where you would select the different scale modes that I was demonstrating on the pads earlier. A few different ones to choose from. You can go in there and kind of select which major and minors you want to go through. And as I emphasized earlier, this screen just has a wealth of information as to what is going on your keyboard. You can see how many octaves we're down, which in this situation it's a 1. And if you have an 88 key keyboard, you can always tell, but with 49, sometimes you don't know where you are. So it's right there. It's also on the main screen too, I think. And you can adjust your transposition from here. There's a couple different ways to do it, but this is just one of them. So you can go, up a step, down a step. So you have the visual feedback again, so you don't get lost in where you are in the keyboard. Here you can adjust the pad sensitivity. It has ranges between 1 and 10. And as I mentioned earlier, when I adjust it, I just don't feel that it has an effect on it. Nothing significant. I can play what I feel is the same pressure between 1 and go all the way up to 10, and it responds in the same kind of way. But I'm sure it does something. It just, I can't really tell when I use it. So again, 1 through 10 right there. And you can also adjust the keybed sensitivity in a very similar fashion. We're going to move over to the MIDI area, and this is going to be where you can control different properties of the hardware itself. So here you can see 8 knobs on the screen, which obviously are representing the 8 knobs on the keyboard. And I'm showing you can see how much of the MIDI signal is being sent, and you can even adjust it. Like instead of 127, you can have it go from 0 to 50, or you can invert the way that it's sending the signal. And you can also adjust the buttons here. You can make them toggle, you could make them latch, you can do a few different things from here. I'm fumbling a little bit. And here we have the pads, and you can see the colors reflect on the screen, and this is where I was changing colors earlier and trying to not block the pad so you can see how it reflects on the screen, what I'm doing on the keyboard itself. And there's a few other things that you can adjust here. If you use an expression pedal, you can adjust that. You also have the capabilities of adjusting the way that the pitch and mod wheel even work. So a lot you can do on this keyboard to make it function the best for you. This keyboard can be advanced, which is why it's probably in the name, because you can go in there and really mess with things in a good way. And it can be simply plug and play. I mean, when I bought it, I just plugged it in and I can play on the keys, but to make some of the other stuff work the way I wanted to, I had to get in there. Now let's go on over to VIP. Here is VIP. This is exactly how it opens. I just opened it up. It loads automatically with a hybrid, which is one of the software synthesizers that comes in the bundle that this keyboard comes with. I think most Akai products come with this little bundle. I actually really like this synthesizer, software synthesizer. Here's the default patch that just comes with. Yes, epic patch. Now, I'm so sorry that my screen capture didn't quite catch all the screen on VIP, but trust me, it's really just preset names. You can actually see them right here on the screen of the keyboard. So that's all that you're missing there on the left side, but I'm just going to select a different one so you can hear a different patch. When you have VIP open, the knobs are automatically mapped to particular parameters, so it makes it easy to adjust things. You can see on my screen on my keyboard, and on the screen of the computer, that when I turn a knob, it's adjusting something different, which essentially you can do with most controllers, just really super easy on this one. So here's me adjusting the cutoff of the filter that's probably not even turned on, so probably why you couldn't hear anything. And these buttons are typically mapped to something that's like on, off, enable, disable, kind of like one or the other things. As for the pads, I'm honestly not too sure what they're supposed to be doing. I don't see them reflecting anything here in VIP, but if one of you guys knows what it's supposed to do, leave it in the comments, enlighten me, enlighten the other viewers, because I couldn't quite figure it out, and I'll read through the manual and I'll let you guys know if they're supposed to do anything in the comments later. In VIP, I can appreciate the fact that you can see the entire software instrument in the plugin. It's not an abbreviated version of it. You have access to all the parameters, all the visual feedback that you would as if you had it in standalone mode or as a plugin within your DAW. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a software instrument that doesn't come with Akai products and something not as popular as like a Native Instruments plugin, just to see if it finds it and can map it. So I just chose Sugarbyte Cyclops. I don't think it's as popular as some other ones, but it's a great bass synthesizer. If you're looking for one, I highly recommend it. So we're just going to try a wobbler here, see how that sounds. Back over to the main screen, you can see a thumbnail of Cyclops in very nice colored detail, so that's always a good sign if it shows up right there. And it's not going to show an exact mirror of what's going on the screen, but at least you know what plugin that you're using. You can see all the presets. So we're just going to play Wobbler real quick. Good bassy synthesizer. I love Cyclops, but I'm not going to talk about Cyclops too much. What I'm going to talk about is how awesome it is that VIP picks up the tempo of the DAW that you're in. Honestly, I expect my plugin to be able to do that, but there are plugins that don't catch it, so I'm going to consider this a plus. So right now, this knob is controlling the volume. Of course, whatever plugin you have, it might be controlling something different. So I always want to make sure you're adjusting what you think you're adjusting. Like here's the wobble knob for this. Now, not all plugins got a wobble knob. This one does. Now there's bank buttons over here that just control different banks within the software. I don't like that you can't see it reflecting the change on the software. You have to go in there and actually click it. And depending on what bank you're in, you can control different parameters. And you can see here, I'm switching them up. Here we come back to a filter. Okay, so it wasn't doing anything right there. I think it's because the oscillator going to that filter was turned off. My bad. You could see in the software, though, that it was doing something. So it was doing what it was supposed to do, just user error. The next part I'll be talking about is multi. That means I can have multiple plugins at once. Here's all the tracks to choose from. There's more than that, but that's what the screen shows at one time. I just select the one that I want, and I'll pick a plugin to go inside of that particular track. So let's see. I think Loom is a good choice for right now. It's another one that just comes in the bundle. That comes with like all the Akai products like Hybrid does. Now that I have it selected in that second track, they should both be playing at the same time, and it might be wild. Yeah, that's a lot going on, but if that is your style, you do you. Coming back over here to multi, you can see that the pads have changed colors. They represent each track, and it turns into kind of a control surface in this area. You can control panning, volume, muting, soloing right here. Like right now, this knob is controlling the volume, but if I push shift and turn the knob, it turns into panning, so you can see it right there. And when you push this little square button up here, it solos. And for the opposite effect, you can push one of the actual pads and it mutes. So as you can see, VIP is an excellent type of performance plugin, but on top of that, it's great for recording and editing. It recorded every single note that I played as MIDI on the track that it was on. So it has its uses in the studio, but I think it's best utilized if you're going to be doing live performances. And that's about all I gotta say about VIP for now. Hey guys, and that is all I have for you today. I hope you liked my review of the Advanced 49, and I hope that if you were trying to make a decision, that I helped you make a decision whether you go for it or whether you don't go for it. I always recommend, if at all possible, try to get your hands on one so you could feel it for yourself. It's obviously so much more different. Playing it versus seeing somebody play it. So if you have a friend who has one, get their input. Again, this video is one person's view, one person's input, and there's just so many more things out there about this keyboard. So go on ahead and watch some more videos and just do some research. That's the most important part of buying any piece of gear. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you like review videos on gear, go on ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be trying to do this on a weekly basis, if at all possible. And I think that's all I got for you guys. So thanks for watching, and until next time, bye.